And now we're live. YouTube.
Hooray!
Not a fan. Not a fan. We tried better this time. I had a countdown thing. It was beautiful. And it was just sitting there saying, waiting to connect to the streaming host. And then it finally connected with 9 seconds to go. So, hello.
That's how YouTube works.
That's how.
Exactly how you don't want it to.
Yeah. I've got some people in the chat already, which is great. We've got, it's just been a day. It's just a big day.
Big day.
Oh, now I can hear myself.
Uh-oh, better mute yourself.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Sorry, I'm not a professional. That's what happens. So how's your day been?
Busy.
Busy, yeah. I know a lot of us were watching Breaks and Makes, aka 3D Maker Noob, Mr. Joe Casha, doing his Christmas stream giveaway today. I know you were working.
Mm-hmm.
As a community and a group of people, and I'm sure at one point it was like 200 people max in the chat. So not a big giant one like Joel's last night.
Well, sure, but it was over a much longer period, so people probably dropped in.
Yeah, people came in and out. Lots of fun giveaways. A lot of people we know. Rain won a Voron V0.1 Kit from LDO. I told him, hey,
So
swing
pay
by,
attention.
learn something. Or don't learn something. I mean, I'm no expert.
Learn how not to do it's a good thing, too.
It's always a good thing. But also, everyone raised $11,000+ for the Sanjay Foundation.
That's fantastic.
That's insane. It was so much fun, and like the big thing to take away from something like this, and everybody needs to remember this, is it's not about how much money you donate. It's not about if you donate at all. Are you participating? Are you smiling? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you doing whatever you feel you can? And if that means you use money, go for it.
If you got a couple of bucks to chip in, it's just a couple of bucks, but that's fine. All those bucks add up. If you've got no bucks to chip in, but you're engaging with the person doing the stream like Joe was today for, what was it, 10 hours?
9 hours. It makes it so much different, so much better.
He had somebody to talk to keep it going so that he could keep the energy up and keep the stream going to be able to raise the money. So even if you're not giving money, you're giving interaction.
Yeah. It's insane. Right. And Ray's saying it there in the chat. It's $12,000 US. The Sanjay Foundation will be administered out of E3D, which is in Great Britain. So euros, pounds. I don't know how it's going to work. It's fine. But there are some people who are saying on Twitter, oh, I could only give this much, or I only did that. Don't. You did everything. You deserve all the credit, and that's it. Doesn't matter. I think the best part of the whole stream is that Joe held his bladder for 9 hours.
That's impressive.
While drinking 2 Red Bulls and a water bottle half the size of my head.
Oh goodness, that poor guy.
Yeah, and we kept telling him, man, go take a break. He
was
relax.
Probably floating out of the room.
It was fun. And I think that was the more important thing, is it was actually like a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good stream. I popped in and out. A lot of people popped in and out. We had some of our friends win some prizes. A friend of ours, Rolex, won a Lulzbot Sidekick 289. So that's the smaller of the two ones. That's the one I have.
Mm-hmm.
Great little machine. He's super excited, and he should be. That's a good machine. Rain won the V0 kit, like I mentioned. Bunch of people won Revo Micros, Revo 6s. Our buddy Ben from Tiffy's Lemonade Stand, I believe he won himself a Orbiter from LDO version 2.0.
Nice.
Our old Salty won some resin and some Magic Goo, and Pokon won something too.
Pokon won the Magic Goo, Salty won the resin. I was there
Nope.
for that one.
Salty won 2 things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he won resin and something else. I think he won the Orbiter. He did. He won an Orbiter because he was talking about putting it on his rail core. Yep. Even Vedran, Mr. Wexter himself, won something.
Did he win Magic Goo?
He did win Magic Goo.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, he got it confused with 3D Gloop. So whatever, it happens.
We're just going to make jokes of it and have fun. So
it's a thing. It's a thing now. Oh, so I have to apologize because I should.
You do.
I touched it.
All these people who invested all that time with you, and
I know. I didn't touch it much. But I did do a little bit with it. I put this on. Only because I was watching Joel's stream and I needed something to do to stay awake for a few minutes. And this was very fiddly just to get the alignments right and everything. So I did it. I apologize. Moving on.
It's only 3 pages of the instructions.
It's I know. It's 3 pages. We were on page 27. And now we are on page 32.
2 of those pages are just, here's what it looks like. So those aren't actual steps. I'm not going to count them.
I'm going to count them as a slap on the wrist. Duff feels cheated. I don't know. Do you want to get into it?
Might as well jump right in.
Let's get into it. By taking it apart.
Just 30 seconds ago, Duff was hoping to grow up and be like Monkey.
Well, Duff, let me tell you a secret.
Don't ever grow up.
and this happens, so deal with it. I resisted the urge all day today while watching Joe stream. And our buddy Fred, the 3D printing on Twitter, Freddie is currently building an orange V0.1 as well.
Not quite as pretty, though.
Not quite as pretty.
It does look pretty good.
But I gave him some tips and some pointers, and I said, you know, you messed up here, so go fix it now before it becomes too much of a problem. And then he spent his day doing that. So it is what it is. Oh. There was just so many good jokes earlier today too.
Yeah.
Well, our friend Shane was one helping Joe out with his stream, and well, Shane's always good for a laugh.
When it comes to things like charity streams,
Shane's the guy.
Shane puts himself out there for the cause, and it's Shane's awesome.
You know, he's also got, like, I'm sure we've heard the joke of you know, people saying, you know, radio voice and the voice that would work at a strip club and stuff. Shane has the charity stream voice, the cadence of his thing. Sometimes the way he gets into it, his thought processes during it. It's fantastic.
It's because he cares. He actually does.
He cares with all of his hearts. And I'm convinced he has more than one heart. That guy he's a gem. And if he's listening, I never said that.
If he's listening, then we can counter everything nice we just said by asking him, how's that project he did with my wife coming? Whoa!
Keeping it PG.
It was coloring.
It was coloring. And Shane couldn't stay within the lines. So I'm just preloading some nuts into the holes as it requests.
Shnikes, my mouse got carried away. I said scroll one page and it went like a bajillion.
Dun, 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 dun. I also wrapped up some Christmas presents today. The kids want to help with their presents that they got their
Siblings.
My daughter Becca really wants to do the tape. That's all she wants to do is the tape. She said, I can't wrap it unless she can do the tape. There's a movie called Arthur Christmas. I don't know if you've seen it.
I'm not familiar with this.
It's a great movie. Obviously it's a kid's movie, but it's good for the whole family. And there's an elf in there that says at one point that she can wrap this whole bicycle with 3 bits of sticky tape. Just 3.
We've had these challenges before, wrapping packages with as little tape as possible. And it can be done with as little as 2.
Yeah, so they were really into that. Okay, so I apparently need extrusions now.
You got all 6 of those in the bottom?
I got 6 in the bottom. And so I got 6 up here.
Mm-hmm.
And I am faced in this orientation.
And 1 in the back.
1 in the back. I got 6 on the underside of this as well. And now it's time for some other extrusions. Now these are...
The ones at the top get the rails. The ones at the bottom don't.
Yeah, and do they get... They get E-extrusion. Now, I'm no expert, but I'm going to assume that the hole goes at the back, because otherwise, how are you going to tighten it? Now, this is just a tack weld, as they say.
It seems to me.
Seems to you.
You could measure and secure that.
I could. It also seems to me, just based on the way they do these sillinesses, I'm just gonna put them in, easy peasy.
Turn that phone down to silent.
Yeah, don't these work people know you're working?
Nobody needs to talk to me, but more importantly, nobody wants to talk to me.
Right. I'm realizing I'm totally doing this off camera. That's great. I needed the edge of the table. That's the excuse.
Well, it is an excuse.
Yeah, let's do this. Let me just...
Oh, goodness. Good evening, Brian Vines. And Red Light.
Mr. Brian of the Vines. There we go. Now that's a little bit presented.
You know, Brian unleashed some fantastic dad jokes in last night's Joel stream.
Oh, he caught Joel off guard so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Joel was actually going to legitimately facepalm.
It was great.
Oh, I was so proud. I was like, yeah, that's my buddy Brian.
Rain says he sees my rep box and wants to know how I like it.
It's the best dang box there is on earth.
You know, it really depends on your setup.
It's true.
With it up on the shelf like this now, it's overkill.
And I think, too, with Pooch's investigations he's currently doing on his YouTube channel with
the Gloop magicians.
The Gloop guys, scientists. They don't use a magic over at Gloop. It's all science. The big thing is, it's not so much to keep the moisture. We know that that's not necessary in this situation because of the PLA and everything. But it's more, you're more so doing it like it's keeping the dust out, the dog hair. It's great for having the active storage during the MMU process as well.
You know, there's another point I didn't think about. The Spider Maker filament that I've got, when I put it in there for the MMU to do these masks.
Yep.
Something about it feeding through those tubes and rewinding and whatnot made a tremendous amount of dust. The box kept it contained.
I have seen with matte filaments that sometimes they have a bit of a dusty coating on them in some ways. Wait a minute. Did Rain just say he accidentally won a rep box and a V0.1 kit?
You know what? Good for him. Brian, I like it.
Oh, what are H extrusions now? H extrusions, double hole only, tapped both ends. The problem I have right now is that they changed the labeling from the instructions we started with yesterday. Oh, or it was the extrusions that I took out in the previous step. That could have been told to me.
I would have told you, but I didn't know.
I know. You're the co-host with the no-host.
Okay. We're going to file that one under Words Are Hard.
English.
I have an idea, but I don't know how to make it work.
Okay.
I need to continue to have day job money without having to go to a day job.
Okay. A few of the ideas are not family friendly.
But then I could hang out with you folks all day and play on the streams and stuff.
You really could. Okay, so this is telling me that I need 37 millimeters from what appears to be
from back of extrusion to back of extrusion.
From in this cavity here, which is fine.
If we can push that a little bit farther forward, it'd be great. There we go.
Hang on, let me just clear a little bit of stuff out here. I'm going to lock these two here, these uprights. I'm going to lock them into these forward ones at a 90 because that's a guaranteed thing. And the really nice part about these LDO extrusions is they're cut so good.
Brian, we can't do that. We're trying to keep the stream family friendly. Good evening, Jake from State Farm.
Matt from Jake.
And Justin.
Oh, I know that
Young
guy.
Justin.
Yeah. Oh. This was a bit of a play to get it smooth. So and here I'm just using the square, lining it up, making sure all my sides are flush, and tightening those down.
And speaking of flushing, no, that's a different channel. Sorry.
The big thing here is if you don't crank that down, you can get a little bit of play on it to then square it up and then drive it home that last little bit. Okay, measurement time.
I think you might be, if you could manage to see it properly, you might be better off doing it on its side so that you can move the top and bottom simultaneously. Because now that you've got those pieces locked together, they're going to have to move together.
Yeah. The other big thing is I could just be that kind of. So the holes, there's holes on this part. I don't know, you can see it right there, right? So that hole is lined up with the screw. There's really not a lot of place it can be otherwise.
You got a couple of millimeters that you can.
Not even a couple, like a hair and a half. And I
don't have a lot of those to spare.
I am pretty much right on it, except for this one over here. Now, because it was brought up last night, I went into my school supplies and I got my calipers.
Okay. So what I would do,
except these are in, there we go, millimeters.
I would use the depth stop portion. zero that first. Then set your size. We're looking for 37.
Just lock it up.
Lock it up and use that as your, set it to 37. And then there's your distance for pushing it in.
Oh. The kid's done it before.
I don't know what these random people who show up in chat and type really short gibberish messages is all about, but not a fan.
Appreciate the engagement. Thanks for the viewership. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and then see you later. Oh, we're getting precision with this one.
I've been informed that they are bot URLs of a specific variety. So we'll just keep removing them.
Okay. This one, I accidentally forgot to turn on the chat replay for last night, so I made sure to do it tonight. So anybody watching this after the fact, that's why there was no chat for the build part 1. But this one there will be. All right, there we go.
We don't need their content. We've got our own.
So I went around and I set everything to the appropriate depths.
So now you can say you followed the instructions.
I have followed some instructions. Next. Okay. An M3x6 goes in the corner for the chain. Okay, let's get this in the right orientation here. So it goes. Comme ça.
So are they telling you to put the chain on now or just that end?
Just that end. And they're not going to be showing the drag chain anymore.
Okay.
No more chain for you. Only it's no more chain for me. And where in the bleepity bleep did I put it? There it is.
tiny. It's easy to lose.
It's not a very big office. I also have that syndrome of put something down and it runs away. You don't even know it, but everything has legs.
I used to blame that on magic gnomes that would steal things, but I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you print the gnomes now. I don't like what that is. Must be some thermal paste.
Thermal paste?
From the last build.
Oh, from the hot ends.
Yeah, all those hot ends. All those hot ends. Holy hot ends. Okay. I need to put some liquids in my body.
Can be useful.
Yep. 4 M3 nuts on the underside. Okay.
That's a rough picture to see.
So let's do it this way. 1.
Under both legs.
This should be skirts. We're going to put
So Duff says the cure to finding things that wander off is to look for something else.
correct.
And our buddy Sergio there says it'll be in the last place you look. And I hope that once you find it, you stop looking.
I love Sergio. It's in the last place.
Although I can see that being entertaining to lose something, go looking for it, find it, but keep looking just so that somebody could ask you, "What are you doing?" And you can respond, "Looking for the thing I found 20 minutes ago."
Right.
We've done more for smaller jokes.
Well, and then it's, why are you still looking for it then? Oh, I didn't want to let it win.
Because I don't know what else I'll find.
I'm just setting this up like a T-nut. If it wants to thread on. And then that's going to go in here.
Looks like it's sticking down. Did you go into the top or the bottom hole?
I went into the top hole. I think worst case scenario, I might be able to change that later.
Sure.
I felt like being lower hole, it's going to give it a little bit more stability. Okay, so then it says I need, sticking with the bottom still, 3 on the outside.
Of both sides.
And these might be the ones that Fred was asking about for panel mounting.
I think so.
Okay, 3 there. And then 3 on the top side. 1 in
Gone
Narnia.
forever.
don't know if that went in or where. Okay, it went in. Oh, almost got an Narnia.
It happens.
Nope, twice. 3 times a lady. Okay. Now I need to slide my bottom panel. Where is my bottom panel? Look at that. Look at it.
All bubble wrapped and everything.
They got their own tape.
It makes sense. If you're shipping that much stuff, just get it branded.
Honestly, it's the funniest thing because Jason is just the kind of awesome, nice guy that you don't think is running this massive company. Like, this isn't a small outfit, LDO, right? Like, it's not like they're making 1 or 2 little piddly things and that's that. They are a mover and or a shaker. I don't want to tell them what they are, so they get to choose. Excuse me, frame, you're in the way. I want in. These panels are wrapped so good. Like, you really won't have a worry about panels getting scratched up or anything. Oh.
So
RIP
I think
headphone users.
We're confused as to who that person in the chat is, and Jason's role is whatever he wants it to be. That's how awesome he is.
Wait, that's not Sergio? Okay, I apologize. Maybe Sergio's got a different name. Look at these fun little guys. Top hat, side panels, chunky doors.
Rain, Jordan, we messed up.
What?
So what we've got here is an LDO kit from Sparta3D.
Yes.
Link in the description. The printed parts are Sparkle ABS, also from Sparta3D. That's teal and ivory.
Elegant teal and ivory, yes. Printed by me on my Prusa MK3S with an MMU, only because it's the one that's over here behind me. And, oh, I can do this. So they're printed here in this lovely enclosure, which is a Wham Bam hot box. It is a foldable pop-up. Put it where you need to. You can actually feed the MMU right through the back. There's 5 ports on the back of it, spool holder hole on the top. There's a temperature sensor on the top even. And it keeps the temperature fantastic for printing ABS. Like, it's really good. So that's what I got. Look at us. That's flat black.
That's fantastic.
This is, oh my.
That's going to make those colors pop.
Oh, dude, it's so much better than the other one. They had used originally a shiny one side texture-ish on the other.
Rain's got another question, asking if PETG will work.
So
it's going to matter what you use it for, right?
What are you printing on the machine? Because PETG is not to Voron specifications. because they built and designed this machine for printing ABS. Oh, Jeremy. I know that guy. Sorry. So they designed this thing for printing ABS. So they want you to print the parts in ABS or higher material. They've also run into some situations where they've said polycarb isn't preferred because it has less tensile strength or something. They've said it.
I think it's also a matter of the shrinkage rates that they've built into the parts.
There's absolutely that as well. So I think you just need to do what is best for you.
As much as I don't like it, I would say because of the versatility of what you can print with it and not knowing how you're going to use it, go with an ABS or an ASA.
Yeah. I have another one of these that I printed in PETG, but I only print PLA on it.
Mm-hmm.
I
so
want
it's
to
that
update
versatility
it.
thing.
Yeah, I want to update it into something else. Okay, so this needs 4 M4 nuts.
M3 nuts.
M3, sorry. Oh, and it needs a couple screws. Oh, okay. That does make a little bit more sense. I was like, I didn't think it just stuck in there. M3 by 10 button head cap screws. Yeah. And truthfully, like Duff saying, ABS is recommended by the Voron developers. And I mean, they built the printer. They know what they want it to do. It is your printer. You do what you want to do. But with the ease of printing Sparta ABS, I don't even know why I would go any other way. This
And
ABS Plus prints like butter.
And Rain says he'll probably go with ASA just to be safe.
And a lot of people have gone with ASA because of personal preferences around odors and ease of printability.
And there is, I don't know where in the world Rain is, but Duff points out accurately that Sparta has the Spiffy program for printing the parts for him as well.
Rain's got a tool changer, so it would be very easy for him to quickly whip up some ASA parts. And
just a matter of whether he wanted to deal with ABS or ASA.
Right. Okay, D Extrusions. Oh, hi, Shyla.
Right? Did you need to say hello to the peoples?
Belgium.
We know a couple of people in that area.
Well, we do appreciate Rain sticking around after such a long stream. So. What are they saying here? Oh, those M3 nuts go on the top.
It doesn't. It doesn't say.
They don't go in the sides here. So I have.
Oh.
I have them in the sides here. They need to go on this top face because I forgot there's another upper deck of gantry parts, and that's what it does.
Well, we're not too far to fix it.
No. In fact, we just go.
Rain says he's got an enclosed Mark III for printing the ASA, so he's good.
Oh, perfect. Those Mark IIIs, they just gotta love them.
2:45 in the morning for him now. That's a late night, Rain.
It's Christmas time. There's Red Bull in the air and in your lungs. Okay, so we're on page 38 of the assembly manual, and we're verifying how many nuts we have where. So I've got 6. I've got 6 up here. I've got 3 here and 3 here. 3 on the bottom.
The bottom though, not the back bottom.
Bottom. Sorry, bottom on either side, and 2 in this middle contraption hole. Holy jumping!
And then you should have that piece you just put in across the bottom front.
Yeah.
You should have 4 of them in the bottom facing extrusion.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spin this around so I can see. I'm sorry. I have 4 in this
Good
bottom extrusion. I have
facing down.
4 in this extrusion facing me. 4 in the back facing me. Or sorry. I have 6 where this slot is facing me. I'm upside down and backwards to the manual here. So 6 in this slotted section.
Mm-hmm.
4 in this section. 4 in this section. 4 in this section.
Mm-hmm.
1 back here. And 3 and 3. Hang on. And 3 and 3 back there. Wow. We are nutted up.
Okay.
Now, can I lock these parts in? Yes, I can. Okay. I'm just starting these screws a little bit so that I can get the driver on them in the square.
University in Belgium. I didn't realize Rain was university age.
Hey, man, I go to college.
I understand.
I am
That's fair.
okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. That is 1 frame. Oh, This matte bottom panel,
Mhm.
like I hope it's translating on camera. It's
Well, we're not.
gorgeous.
Yeah, we're not getting the glare, so it does show as being matte.
Yeah, but it's gorgeous. Oh, that's nice. And the motion is beautiful. And we're putting it aside.
So, Jordan,
Hello.
are you ready for a healthy dose of jealousy?
Okay. What do we got?
Picture yourself at 18
Okay.
with your 3D printers and tool changer.
Do good things. Contribute to society. Do good things. Because that's amazing. The fact that like I look back at what we had growing up. Um, I grew up without much of anything. Um, and now with my kids and what they have and what more so what they have and more what they have access to. Um, it's incredible
It
where
really
we
is.
are as a society with that. Like my kids can just come downstairs and say, "Daddy, can you make this for me?" And they have home manufacturing.
Yeah, and it's not like, okay, daddy gets a chunk of wood and starts cutting.
Right. They get involved in the design process on some of it. I bring them down and I ask them how they want it to look. Do they want a curve here? Do they want the hook? Because they ask for hooks for their beds and little holders to put their toys in and stuff. So yeah, it's crazy. And then to think 18, you got the rest of your life ahead of you, and you've got access to the the world's knowledge at your fingertips.
Now, you want to really break your brain? Imagine how what he's going to see when he's our age.
Flying frickin' cars.
Now, see, we've been promised that for like 50 years. So,
Hey man, we're almost seeing the end of the gas era. That's all right. I'm going to set some heat set inserts here.
yes, you are.
Oh, that's fun. So according to this, these two
The outer two
inserts
go deep.
they go much deeper into the part. That's going to be fun to figure out. Let's go. All right, we got to turn this down. This is too hot.
Yeah, especially if you have to push all the way into it.
Yeah.
Are those inserts that are threaded on there going to get in the way?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know much, but I do know nothing.
I don't know anything, but I know nothing. And I'm going to put them up here so I don't touch them with my arm. It's not like I've done that before a time or two. Okay. I also turned it down from the 300 or so that it was.
Yeah, it shouldn't need to be that hot.
I'm sitting at 180. It takes a few seconds, but that's fine.
Yeah, there's no reason to have to go quick. A little cold might help you feel the bottom of the hole anyway.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
So it's the same on the B.
Yeah, I don't truthfully know what part I was using first here.
Oh no!
Whether it was A or B.
Well, it's the same arrangement on both, so. Reading through some of the notes, one of them says, grub screws, aka the root of all evil.
The root of all evil. Come on, little guy, let's go. Are you too good for your home?
Yes. Did you already put one in that hole?
No. No, it just. I just turned the temperature up a little. I might have been
too cold. One of our friends did say 220 was the magic number.
220 is the magic number? Done.
So, Rain, one of the notes that pops to mind on the instructions, we called it out yesterday, so make sure you watch yesterday's, but they don't show you where the nuts, they don't always show you where the nuts are needed.
Yeah, there's a lot of. So you saw the steps where we called out for the nuts that went into the frame. There's sometimes they don't call it out like that. When I installed that little clip for the drag chain,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't say to put a nut there.
But you have to have something to screw into.
Obviously need to have a nut there. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's better. Good. Now I'm just gonna.
No, you're not done yet. You need two more.
I'm just gonna skip along. Yeah,
Page 42.
One in each of these.
Mm-hmm.
In the small hole?
In the small hole, the lower hole, with it flat down.
Yeah. I think this one needs to be flush. because there's a post that has to go through there. So. Okay.
That was it for the heat sets for the AB motors.
Yeah. I'm just going to turn this off because it takes nothing to heat it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Hydrate. Let's see. Okay. Rewinding steps.
Quick message before you do that. In the side.
In the side, in the side. In the side, in the side. All right. There we go. Okay. I have A. I have a B. I don't want that. I have an A. And just to keep it from falling out, I have that. Heat set inserts. Oh, we're into some fun stuff now.
Shims.
Oh, it's a thing.
Lots of notes about spacers and shims.
Oh, yeah. We're into some bearings. I don't need any pulleys yet, right?
Bearings and shims and spacers.
Whoa. Dude. I didn't even realize these are genuine Bondtech parts.
Nice.
Kit just keeps getting better and better. Okay. We need some printed parts, it says here. So I need a couple of those printed spacers.
Uh-oh.
Little ones that want to roll away.
Okay, is that what those were? Ivan Miranda would say, spacers! I think you only need 2 of them.
You know, you're probably not wrong.
Well, it says all 6 spacers are identical. We won't be calling them out going forward, but it only shows in the assembly 1.
Yeah, I don't want to dig for those again. That was the right package of bearings, right? 623s, yeah.
There should be 6 of those.
2, 4, 5, 6. Shims. Okay.
Shim shiminy.
M3 M3 by 6 0.5 shim washer.
0.5 is what you're looking for.
Thickness thickness is important. It says right on the bag.
That's great. That's really great.
And it makes sense as to what they're saying because of the times 3 by 35. The tolerance stacking is 100% a thing. M3 by 35 button head cap screws.
I'm going to go ahead and say, if you don't pay attention to the thickness, you're going to get the sickness.
And I want this part, as this one is not. Right.
I think you're correct. The one in your right hand.
Shown.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on. Now Viking has moderator powers. The
I'm pretty
reason
sure I got
why,
it, though.
Yeah, I had turned off some moderator powers because I had, back in the old days when we were all hanging out and having laughs and giggles and everybody was a moderator.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, let's just clean that up a little. Okay, this is my least favorite part of the build right here.
It seems like there should be some way to make a stand or something.
I know. All right, so I need to get some washers out here, some shims.
Seems to me as if there's a couple of places in this where some printed parts specifically for assembly would be useful.
Yep. Oh, hang on a minute. I got an idea.
I thought I smelled smoke.
Brainstorm. You see, there's this lovely hole here that I just put a threaded insert in. So why don't I just thread a screw into it?
Okay, and that'll hold that screw.
And now this screw is
what
locked.
What you do for the other one? Look at you.
Okay, so now that's the official building instructions, by the way. From now on, put
you were saying
M3 by 8 into this, and that'll hold that into position, and then this one can just be set down on something. But printed jigs would obviously make this go a lot further.
A little smoother.
Okay, then I need a bearing stack. Then 2 shims. And then a bearing stack. Oops.
So those bearings are going to act as the guides for the belts?
They do, yeah. So they go on like such, and that gives 2 flanged sides for the belt to run in.
Okay.
I could move the camera down if we wanted to, but
I don't think so, because this is only going to be a little bit at this stage, and then we're going to put it on the printer.
So I'm going to put on a spacer. Shimp. I said shim. A bearing stack. And then
another spacer. Now what are you going to do, smarty pants?
Now what I'm going to do is take this, like this, and that goes like that. Where, sir? Where does that attach to?
Don't you wish you knew?
currently nothing. So it's time for a temporary nut. You know what? I'm feeling generous. It's time for 2 temporary nuts.
Well, since you're going to put all this on the motor here in just a moment, I see why they would skip it.
Yeah, it really makes moving things around easier.
Mm-hmm. Now, since you've got, speaking of moving around easier and whatnot, since you just put nuts on those 2 parts, why don't you remove that screw that you used as a temporary hold? Then you don't get to it later and go, shit, there's something in the way.
Mm-hmm. All right.
M3x30s and 35s.
See, this picture is slightly misleading. GT2 first.
No, that's fairly clear.
It kind of, yeah. Two M3x30. Jeez, for little motors, they're beefy.
They really are.
Let me follow this step real quick here. M3x30 button head screws on either side. That's what keeps that in. Right. Don't worry. We'll get there together. Ah, the 2 deeper heat set holes.
Aha! See, it's all starting to come together.
Now, I'm not going to crank these down because there's nothing really to keep this all in orientation.
Sure, you can tighten it up later.
Yeah, I think I can get to it later. I don't. We'll find out.
This is an odd measurement that they've given us. Because it looks like they've measured it from the inside of the belt path to the mating face of the motor.
Wow. Okay. So I need
To say hello to David Wheeler.
David Wheeler. Good dude. Good dude. I think he won something today too.
Everybody's winning today.
I'm
gonna go back to Duff's comment earlier. Bob was robbed.
Bob was robbed. I think it's an M3. Is it just
the
one?
grub screw?
Yeah. So in this little package, I have a few really. I've got 3 M3x2 and 4 M4x3.
I think it's going to be the 3s.
Right, and it's usually 2, right? You don't just put 1.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And they have blue.
No.
They have blue already on them.
Oh, that
I think
makes
Bob's
that...
buying a kit for Christmas.
Well, that depends. Should we put a duet on it?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
David says he didn't win. He missed it by 1 space on the wheel.
Oh. What did he do? I saw his name come up. Oh, maybe it was a donation.
It may have been chat about being 1 space off as well. That happened a couple of times this morning.
Yeah. All right. So we want to be from this flat mating surface
to the inside of the belt path.
Now, you always put grub screws, for those who don't know, and the people who are currently attending know, but this video is to live on the internet forever and ever. You always put one grub screw on the flat of the motor. The other grub screw goes to the side. When doing it like that, it guarantees that even if that grub screw loosens up a little, it will not spin 100% on the shaft. I don't know if that's picking up at all. But that grub screw, you try to lock it down in the middle of the shaft, and the grub screw will bite. And
Poor Viking didn't win anything either, and he tried all day long.
Viking's too good. All right, so it looks like...
Is there any difference in the wiring harness length on these motors?
I don't know, Bob. I'm going to look now.
Nor do I, but it's a thought that occurred to me. Looks to be the same.
I love how they're short. That's so great. Okay. 8.5 millimeters.
Yep.
So we're going to set this to 8.5. 8.5.
Nice.
Yeah, I got it on the first try, too.
First try.
This is not as hypercritical because usually you can make a little bit of adjustment later on. The big thing is those things having Locky already on them. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because I got it out. I found it from the bin of doom that I threw it in when I got angry at Loctite. But
not having to use it makes it so much better.
So much better. Okay, now this is where I'm going to bring up the CAD. So Rain, if you're still listening or you're watching this again later, here's pro tip. Have the CAD open and actually use the CAD.
So that you can set the wire path.
Hang on. Hey, me again.
Hey,
there he is. I'm actually going to show this.
Okay.
I'm going to show this right now. So here is Fusion 360 with the CAD file from Voron. I have turned off a few things. Like they have it so that if you want to have the Bowden setup, you can have the pocket watch and it shows it all there. There is also top hat and front doors and stuff like that that are on here. I've hidden some of that just for ease of manipulation. There's also a banana that sits on the... I got rid of that because it's not needed. But as you can see, I colored it first. So I went around, I figured out the anodized color for the frame thereabouts. I picked and chose. So the Voron system, all of these parts are labeled. And if they have a little A, then that means they are accent color. I am a more flagrantly creative person, so I choose what I want. If I want this to be blue, it's going to be blue. If I wanted this to be white, it's going to be white. So I went around and I colored it to my choosing. And I also played with the colors to pick the ones that I wanted to use. And if you don't know anything about CAD, this is a really easy way to start because there is modify appearance. And with that, you can just choose colors. Like you can be like, I just want to use like just paint, glossy paint. Like just, I want it blue. Done. Now I know what it's going to look like if it was blue. But in here, this is also good because this now gives me a full 3-dimensional overview of the printer as it sits. which means I can figure out how I want those wires to kind of go. They're
And it
not
looks like you want them running towards that nut.
they're not specified on the model, but yeah, I would say running towards the nut would be the best. Otherwise, it has to come back out this way and travel that whole distance. You're
And
going to lose
panels and stuff
space.
like that are going to get in the way.
So I want both of them with the wire path facing the nut.
So
this is also really helpful for one of those things of like, I wonder why they want me to put one nut in there. There it is, right there. It's just helpful to know.
two things have come up since we've been chatting about this.
I had
the
chat moved, so I apologize.
Yeah, Duff would like to know what our thoughts are on Loctite sticks. And good evening, Peter.
Hey, Peter. You really missed us talking up the wham bam earlier. It was great. Thread locker, the sticks are okay for small stuff like this because you can just get a little tiny bit. The better solution of the stick is just get yourself a really small little cup of something and put a few drops in it. Then you can just dip your screw into it, nice and easy. Or if you have the thicker gel stuff is better for that. If you're doing big bolts for anything, get the tape. They have a thread locker tape. Just put a couple wraps on it, and then it's so good. Nothing that we really do in 3D printing is going to require that, but
I prefer the anti-seize tape.
The big thing with thread locker is a dab will do ya, and keep it away from your printed parts. Keep it away from your printed parts.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's what I do when I'm planning one of these builds. That's a little inside point there. Is as I look at the printer, I look at the materials, I look at the choices of what is available, and I play with it. I've done this with all of the printers that we've done. So I've looked at all of them and looked to see how I can color it. What is it going to look like? Is it better that I make these parts blue or pink, or can I go 3 colors? Can I go 2, 4, anything? So thus ends my Fusion tutorial, my TED Talk.
Well, see, now you've said those words because our buddy PLAman there would like some Fusion tutorials.
Fusion tutorials? Give me a list of what you want. I'll make videos. I happen to notice, and I wanted to take a minute, that my YouTube channel has been growing. Unbeknownst to me, and not under my supervision, it's been growing. And I feel like I want to keep that going in some capacity. And I think Fusion tutorials, I'm also relatively proficient with SolidWorks. I've learned it through school recently, and with our friend Grubby Zebras helped out a bit, and Chris at Warcocky as well. But I'm quick to pick these things up, so I'm good to show that as well, if that's something people are interested in learning. But leave a comment down below, ping me on Discord, Twitter, wherever. Let me know what you want to do, and we can do it. We can make it happen. Hydrate.
Motors.
So long, ugly mug. Hello, motors. M3 by 35 button head screws.
It's almost like somebody thought this through. So I have this same comment that I'm going to make for the LDO bear kits. The bags are great. It's fantastic that they're marked. Having them in a little plastic organizer would be...
Now you're just getting greedy.
I know.
But you know what? Be greedy.
So there's two things. It can't hurt to dream, And you never get it if you never ask.
That's right.
Rain, I don't know who that is. I think the inspiration for the colors was a box from Sparta that had them in it.
So here's the thing, and the Duff and PLAman, we're friends with the owner of Sparta, Joe, and he is. It's like it's so good to be surrounded by just good people. We talked about that earlier in the stream with what Joe was doing, and Pooch and his generosity, and Joe from Joe Prusa with his generosity earlier, and just you're surrounded with just good people. And Joseph Tam is another one of those good people. Uh, and he said to me, "Hey, I want you to build this printer." And I said, "Okay, I can do that for you." And he's what color do you want to make it in? I said, I don't know. What color do you want me to make it in? And 4 choices arrived. And then we had discussions of what would look good, what would look bad. I also sat down, like I said, with the Fusion. I've made what, Bob, 5 or 6 different versions of
just
this
of this
printer,
one.
of this printer. When I made the switch wire, I had 6 or 7 versions of that. I had versions like that's how I also, if you're in the market to purchase one of these printers and you're not quite sure what color frame you want to get into, load it up in Fusion. The Fusion files are available through the Voron channel, through their website. Bob can probably post a link to the Voron documentation page. It's super easy just to color it, see what you like, what speaks to you, and what colors you want to go with, and what's available to you too. If you're not sure, you look at your local retailer and say, well, they're offering this color and that color. I like the looks of that, so that's what I'm going to go with. The world is your oyster.
It is very much easier if you have a color scheme in mind when you start. But it's not necessary.
No, not necessary. But every printer that I do, I sit back and I figure out what colors I want to use.
Well, what I mean by that is, like Rain is saying that this reminds him of a specific car. Well, that's great if you've got that inspiration. You say, I want to make a printer to match that. Fantastic. Yeah. But there's also that red extrusion looks really good, or that blue extrusion looks really good. I want to do something with that. Then go figure out what goes with it.
Mm-hmm. Start with your major color, your major theme. If race cars are your theme, do it. If you're not into race cars and you're instead into Marvel Avengers and you want your car to look like Avengers, and
well, okay, you say that. We have seen a series of Voron printers done in Avenger theme colors.
Yeah. Yep. When the Voron V0.1 kits were first released, they were offering them to a few in gold as a promotion, as a thank you and whatnot. And some of them, like with accent parts, look amazing. Look like Iron Man. David Randolph made his Voron V0 with red frame and I believe gold parts.
I know he did a Captain America's V0.
That was the V0 that he did. His 0.1 that he did with Chris Riley, I believe, was...
That was a Switchwire.
Oh, sorry, Switchwire. And dang it. But the theme is still correct.
Yeah.
All right, back to work.
Speaking of our friendly Joseph, he's in chat now.
Hey, I was just talking smack. DHL delivered. Ooh, what did they deliver?
Snow.
And they probably charged them for it too. DHL.
Probably.
I see Peter mentions that cheesy TPU piping. That plastic insert stuff.
I tried it on the Red Bear
Yeah.
when I was going for the Canada theme, and it just made it look too much like a candy cane.
I admittedly like this new tape that a lot of them are using on the frames to make it look like carbon fiber.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh. If you look at like I think the Vauxhall or Voxel Aquila that Fernando has.
Okay.
That's one that I believe does that. The newer Crealities that are also doing that as well.
Don't forget your spacer. It goes underneath the shim.
Goes there.
Okay.
At least I'm on page 47.
Yep, I wasn't paying attention.
That stack looks to be right. Yeah. Now, there is something to be said for using some of that insert stuff to help keep crud out of your extrusions.
The lift kit for the Mini looked pretty good with it.
Right. The super tacky cheap stuff did not look good. Hello, Choo Choo.
Every once in a while, we get those drivers that just really like to lay on that horn.
Are you right near a crossing, or is it just as they drive through? Or
there's a crossing at the end of the subdivision.
Okay.
But the whistle stop for the crossing is right behind my neighbor's house.
Oh, so it's your neighbor's fault. No! No! Oh. Okay, it's fine.
Peter has sparked ideas.
I do want to dip a frame one day.
Right? That could be the next thing.
Well, we've talked about Taylor.
We've talked about the laser etching frames.
I do love the sacred etching laser frames, and one day I will have one. I don't know when or where or how or who or what, but one day I'm gonna make it a thing. I found the spacer that fell. But hydro dipping, yeah, that would be quite the thing.
It opens up a lot of possibilities. If you knew somebody that was good at the hydro dipping.
Well, I wonder if with hydro dipping, something like the MK3, for example, put it together, the frame section.
Okay.
No printed parts, just that's the frame section thing.
Yeah.
Dip that all in one go.
Okay.
As opposed to dipping.
It depends on your finished goal.
Sure.
If you're looking for a specific set pattern, I think that's a mistake. Because of too many angles, too many shapes.
I've watched, guys, there was my prosthetics guy asked so when it came to choosing my leg, there was conversations to be had, of course, and one of the things that was brought up was, do I want to have it, like, what kind of finish do I want? Do I want paint? Do I want one of the things they can do is, because it's fiberglass, or not fiberglass, but acrylic resin. Well, it's acrylic resin and carbon fiber. They can embed fabric into the acrylic resin.
Okay.
So any of your favorite T-shirts, any anything you want in that respect can be just embedded right into the material.
Mhm.
Or it can be left in its raw carbon fiber with its finish. And dipping was also something that came up as an option. And I was really contemplating a dip of some kind.
Okay.
My only thing with it is when it came to this thing, I wanted it, if I have to have a robot leg, I want it to look like a robot leg. I don't want it to look.
So the thing with your leg is it's generally a round shape.
Yes.
So you can keep the patterns pretty good. It's when you get into some of these hard angles that you run into some.
Wrapping a shape around itself. I've watched some dipping
Yeah.
done on the YouTubes and TikToks, things like that. The roundier shapes obviously do better.
So Ben and Grant have
Hey,
both joined us.
I know that Ben guy.
That Ben guy's good people.
Hang on, I have to. Tiffy's lemonade stand. Most honestly, if you don't have one of these shirts, even if you don't know what they do or feel like, it is so comfortable. It is like one of the most comfortable. I wear this shirt, no word of a lie, once a week.
Yeah. Well, that's
I have two of them, and I wear them once a week. So twice a week, I am generally wearing a Tiffy's lemonade stand shirt, and it's incredibly comfortable. It breathes well. It's good for us huskier fellows. I have a Wham Bam shirt, but it shrank in the wash. It was super soft.
The shirt that I was wearing on yesterday's stream was a Maker Viking shirt for Fenrir.
Maker Viking.
But Tiffy's lemonade stand does the earrings.
Yeah, they do.
And lots of other fun stuff.
They're fantastic people. They've been good friends and good friends of the channel. Help me out with my endeavors.
Heck with the channel, they're just good friends.
17.5. Wow, we're getting some numbers here. Actually, I wore my Wham Bam hoodie out the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was like, "What's that all about?" And I said, "Well, let me tell you a little story." And then, because it was like just a random person at a restaurant, and they were.
It's interesting when you go out with the 3D printing merch on, and the people who recognize it or not.
Well, this person did not recognize it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But once I started talking about the like what it's related to, he's like, "Hang on a second, you could do 3D printing at home? Like, how big are these machines? How expensive are they? I need a license?" Like it became a whole conversation.
Jordan,
Yeah.
you've had a request made of you from Peter.
Okay.
He needs pictures of the hoodie because there aren't very many out in the wild.
No, there isn't. When I pull it out of the laundry next, Peter, I will do so. Hey, Llama Loops is here. Getting a full crowd now. That's great. Oh. Okay, now then, without dropping things or causing a mess.
That'd be cool, Ben. Get you a Wham Bam plate for that Railcore Mini.
We can do it.
Oh, hoodies were only for special beta testers.
They sure were. They were a limited run. It's a flex.
That's awesome. It moves.
Now, I'm not cranking these down to the moon right now because, well, there's just no point. The whole point of this setup is you can loosen these 4 screws, and then you turn this knob, and it will pull the assembly.
Yeah. Did you look down the barrel of it and see if the gear on the motor lines up with the belt path?
It does. This one I think I need to drop just a hair, though. Sometimes precise measurements are good. Ben, if you need to, I'll get you Peter's email, and we'll get you guys in touch.
Yeah, David, that's how you tension those belts.
This tensions the Core XY belts. We'll go through that when we get to the belt tensioning phase of the system. As a heads up, I'm obviously not going to be streaming for the next couple days. There's a thing going on kind of around the world, the eggnog and such.
Oh, I don't have any of that. Dang it.
What are these 2 screws? Huh, I had extra screws. I didn't even... I pulled them out, put them aside. Forgot I put them aside.
Shame on you. Yeah, Peter, we will
I'll get Ben the info.
We talk to Ben all the time, so we'll make sure that he reaches out. And we'll do it when he has specifics available.
Yeah. None of this flim flam, I don't know business.
So we're going to need a small adjustment to our camera angle.
Yeah, I just need to see something here. Okay. This is where I wish they had carried some of their logic through with this.
Uh-oh.
There's no way to see anymore what number, like whether this is A or B.
Okay, but it's really not necessary. The towers go in the back corner.
Yeah, I know. It's just, again, it's one of those things that the nice to haves, you know?
So, you know what you just did there, and I don't appreciate it.
What?
You just made me defend a Voron design choice.
Look, man. Sometimes it do be like that.
Can't believe you tricked me like that.
Okay, the screws are fastened into the preloaded nuts. Slide the nuts into position prior to placing the part. A skewer. Okay. It looks like I need to use 6 here. Is that what I'm seeing?
Well, you've got 2 on the side.
And then right.
Good night, Peter.
My only thing is, this back one literally threads right into the hole.
Yeah. So that's gonna set your alignment.
Right. Merry Christmas, Peter. Merry Christmas to all the Wham Bam fam. Jam with a side of ham. All right. We'll change the camera angle, but I need to see what's going on. So
Oh, no, this is fine because we can still see from the top.
get what you get.
Now they're making fun of me for agreeing with the design choice.
Wow, that is that is something by feel.
So here's another situation where maybe a printed part would be useful.
Right.
Underneath there, holding those nuts in the right spacing, or as they did for the linear rails.
It's also a case of where having a magnetic tip on your...
There are devices that you can get. They come with a lot of precision screwdriver sets to magnetize or demagnetize your tools. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that. So I magnetize this one because then I can use it to
Move the
push
nut right where you want it. Push
where
or
I
pull.
want it to go. Yeah. This is going to be a bit of a trickier one here.
So Ben, keep talking about your rail core. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, buddy.
And yeah, those laser cut pieces for alignment of the nuts, that's great.
Something to keep things in alignment is really important, because like what I'm doing right now is it's just a step that just doesn't need to happen. Now I could have...
It's more fiddly than it needs to be, is really the...
I could have tried lining them up with the holes prior, dropping them down onto it, and like that. I'm just missing it.
So those nuts have just enough play in them to get off in two directions, right?
Yeah, I just got to worry about
Yeah.
running them down the channel. I mean, you know when you've got it because it actually
It
stops
grabs.
spinning,
Yeah.
right?
And depending on how sensitive your feelers are, you can kind of feel it grabbing when it starts to thread in as well.
Oh yeah. Well, you can tell when you're sitting on the nut versus in it. And
And now you know what you get to do?
Lather, rinse, and repeat.
Do it all over again.
Yeah.
That's a lot of screws for holding that motor on there. That's
Dude, yeah.
engineered the shit out of it is what they did.
Uh-huh. Gonna even allow the potty mouth. It's one of those things that you've got it in this corner. So really, why not lock it into, like, you're constraining it in two locations. It's a good move from a restriction standpoint. Also, this is the key element of the printer in that respect.
I think those two screws that you put away weren't extra.
They were. I just grabbed them by accident.
Okay. If you look at the motor you just put on the frame, at the end where that printed nut is, yeah. Those were M330s.
Uh-huh. See, I just lined them up a little bit beforehand, and a little bit easier to get.
See, I knew there had to be a reason you keep me around.
The 110%. I don't know what it is, but there is one. Maybe two. Oh man. This requires just a little bit of extra. Oh wow, you can really see the sparkle when I light it up. Okay, so what I just did there was use the little flashlight to shine through the end hole so I could see in the channel. This last one you can see as is. You don't need a special setup for it. But oh, I had that one. Come on. Is that you or me?
That is me.
All right. Oh. Yeah. Tough. These things look massive compared to the frame. You're not kidding. These motors are. More than half the beef here. Holy jeez, that put a lot of back weight on them. Wow. I have to go move this thing and almost flip backwards. Do a backflip.
Oh, that's going to be a big difference between that and the V0 because of the giant motors.
Right.
Trying to think if there's any way that you could shift any weight forward on it. I just don't see it.
Let's just assume they did.
Or what they probably did is put enough stuff underneath of it weight wise to make it not be such a big issue.
Right.
Because we've still got a power supply and all sorts of fun stuff like that to put on there.
Well, and then there's a Z motor that goes through it, and honestly, David, that's short of when they started teaching me CAD for school recently. I had never used it before in my life, and 2 years ago I got into the 3D printing. Some years ago I got into this little 3D printing gig, and the big thing was Fusion 360, so I got in there and I just started to play. If you ever get stuck or you want to do something and you're like, I've got this part I made, I want to see what the inside looks like. How do I do that? Just Google it. You will find how to do a section view, and you can learn how to do it. There's going to be a video.
In Fusion, it's called section analysis.
There's section analysis, yeah. But once you learn the term, that changes your search parameter, and now you know what you're looking for.
Yeah. There's a couple of things I want to play with in Fusion that will make things interesting.
Yeah. Okay. AB idler. Need a hydration break. AB idler. Let's get some more printed parts. Good news, everybody.
We have printed parts.
The box is getting a whole lot less printed parts in them.
I would hope so.
I mean, this thing's not really held. Like, the frame is locked together.
Yeah, the frame is metal to metal.
Metal to metal. Now, what we're going to be doing is building the pillar that goes on these corners to then have a frame member come across the top, which is what the panel attaches to. But the actual, like, physical rigidity of it all is metal to metal, metal to metal.
I'm ignorant on the subject, but I'm not sure how I feel about those blind joints.
Blind joints are the best. They are the bestest best. Do I need any heat sets in these? No, it doesn't look like I do.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. Oh, right. These are all holes for accessing through it for all the blind jointing. Okay, so I'm going to need this part and this part according to the manual. I'm going to need M3 by 35. I'm going to need... The nice part about this is these are mirrored parts, but the parts themselves have the offsets designed into them.
I see that. One's got a thicker base and a shallower top, and the other one's the opposite.
That's smart. One, two, three, four. Yeah, sure. it says it goes shim, bearing, bearing, shim.
And then printed part.
And then this one gets the taller of the printed part.
And that should give you a way to set it down without losing things.
Well, that's the hope. This is a trick I learned long ago in HVAC stuff. Is put a little sideways pressure on the screw, and it won't fall back on you. And then once you can get it, you can grab the tip and just the tip. There we go. Ta-da's! All right, so now I need. Let's just bring you over here. I need Mr. Framey back. And going with this side, I need.
No.
You want me to put it in my foot?
Yeah.
All right, I need. Looks like this one screw that's sitting at the top still needs to come back. Or this nut, sorry. And we're looking for the shallower of the bunch to start with. Is that what you're seeing?
The thicker base.
Thicker base, shallower top.
Yeah. And the other side doesn't get the nuts, so that must be like a hinge mechanism or something.
There is some things that attachments that go here for the magnets for the door hinge.
Yeah.
M3 by 35. Just gonna snug those down. Hey, another bot. Thanks for visiting. See you later. I gotta say, I'm super excited that Dave just learned something about Fusion.
That's great, isn't it?
It makes me want to make those videos. Oh, come along now. Well, I'll be. That's a thing. All right.
Now they want you to double check your belt path.
Check my work. Compare your assembled parts to the graphics shown here. Those look good. These are in the right rounded edges to the outside orientation. If I look from the side, as it is suggesting here, I have upper belt path in line with that. Lower belt path in line with that. Huzzah. Oh, we're getting some Z-axis action here. Yeah, right. Okay.
I think I'm going to need to take a brief intermission
Okay.
and
You
have
gotta
some
eat.
supper.
Yeah. Well, I'll entertain the people. And by entertain the people, I mean I'll just keep building.
Yeah. I'll be back in just a few minutes. If you want, I'll turn off the camera and you can just pop me out of here.
I'll just kick you out right now. Boop, there he goes. He's gone. He's in the back. He's doing his thing. Oh, look how much bigger it is. That's great. All right. Printed part. Now this section here, there is a specific part needed from the LDO manual. It does say LDO has recommended printed parts. I didn't see that before printing the parts, so I printed both of the pieces. I don't know exactly which one I need, so I'm going to use some measurements here and determine which one is the right one. T-nut obviously doesn't fit in there, so this one, not the right one. That fits in there. That's the right one. This is a Teflon coated lead screw. So it's just one more layer of friction lubrication and drag reduction, especially with the palm nut. Like it really goes on super easy. Wham Bam needs a bigger mat. They do need a bigger mat. I need a bigger mat. Okay. This all is going to assemble like this. This is going to go in there. That all goes up in that direction. It says here I need an M3 by 12 button head screw. M3 by 12 button head cap screw. Yeah, Teflon coated Z screw is top notch. Oh, this thing's like right in the way. Now you don't want to tighten these down too much. This is POM, or Delrin is what it's sometimes referred to as, even though they are different. It's a self-lubricating plastic, but it is plastic. It will strip if you crank it down. All right. Some more M3x12. And they're going to go in that back hole. I don't know about the EU version, Duff. It might be steel. It might be... Might be the Teflon. Well, I tell you, I know how to find the answer. When Rain gets his kit, I'm sure he'll be happy to let us know what it is. I can just ask him. So now this is going to attach to these two screws, or these two nuts, sorry, that are right in there. You're going to have to stand up and get in the way a little here. Now, I don't think you need to be too delicate with tightening these up. I do want to make sure I'm actually in the nut, but this is going to move back and forth depending on where your Z lines up as. They don't use PTFE wire in the EU. Interesting. This is just not attaching. Why not? Okay. Sorry, I have to turn this away so that you can't see what I'm doing, because it's not lining up for some reason, and I'm not sure what's the culprit here. The screw is just being difficult. It doesn't want to thread in. Let's try a different one. There we go. Gravity was fighting me on that one. I just tipped it back a little bit, and then I was able to get the screw to catch. That's in. Now we need a little assortment of screws here. It looks like a couple M3 by 8s. And M3 by 6. Yeah, these screwdriver stuff, I got them. I wish I got them at Sparta. This one I got from Sparta, which is a multi-tip one, which is fantastic. These I just got on Amazon as some RC car screwdriver set. They're really good in that respect of just comfortable handle, easy to use. So now that I need another printed part, which is that one, and our lead screw, which is this one. And it goes on something like that. Now this part, I want to just make sure I'm able to set the output for the wire. Just based on how this is going to attach into the frame like that, I want my wire facing into this underside as best I can. I think. No, I want it to go the other way. Because the wire has to go up the back panel. So I'm feeling like that. Looks to be about the way to do it. Because if that clips up into there, then this wire can skirt over top of that and up and in. So that'll be good. Oh, I wouldn't call these luxury, David. I mean, they're probably $20. But they do make a world of difference. And then using your fusion skills, you can pop open and just make a quick holder. says we need to flip it on its back now. And preload some more nuts. All right, 3 nuts here. Yeah. Yeah, the length is nice on them because there's enough room to get in. If you really needed to, you could shorten them really quickly. That's the grub screw is mounted onto a flat that is milled on the shaft, but then if you needed to temporarily, you could tighten it up and just use it for a short time and then bring it back to get it on the full lock. But okay, looks like we need 3 nuts in basically everything. And these are probably panel mounting nuts. Okay, looks like one. That's a bunch of nuts. And then I need some feet. I was going to say, I swear I printed all the feet. Looks like these are fronts. They're saying let's just rotate this to match the picture. Why not? Back, front, front, and PTFE. Then somewhere in a bag that I saw earlier today, there are feet. Those feet. Not my foot, but those. And these require M3 by 40. Ah, Richard Knight, welcome to the stream. Orange frame. Good night, Grubs. Sleep well, sir. You know, there's something distinctive about this orange frame. Like, it's not just not just your everyday run-of-the-mill printer frame. Now, we're going to tighten those down, but not too much, because you don't want it. If you tighten these down too much, you can actually bulge them out on the sides, because they are just a washer inside the rubber. And you want to keep some elasticity in this. That's what's helping with your dampening. So Keep looking over to make sure Bob's not just sitting there in the back waving at me and saying, "Hey, hey, let me in, let me in." Because then I have to say, "What's the password?" And then there would be a whole thing, and I couldn't hear him. And how long you been back there?
Did you said that?
Yeah, it's almost like I knew. All right.
Those are some tall legs.
Like they look like they're tall, but
Well, it's M3x40s to hold them in. Maybe it's just a camera angle problem.
it's 40 mils to get them. This one, 40 mils from the top of this to the bottom, basically, because the screw. But I digress. All right. 2 M3x8 in there. And 2 M3x8 in there.
Is that one with the fancy what's it's not for the power cable?
What? Where?
One of the legs is different from the others.
Oh, this one here. This the one that's different from the others is actually for PTFE to hold it.
Oh, okay.
Don't know what this other one is.
What's the other one different from?
So the fronts are just fronts.
Mm-hmm.
That then there's that special one that looks like it holds the PTFE.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this back one, which has a little ear on it. I don't know what the ear is for.
Maybe a mounting point for the panel?
Might be. All right, so now we're going to, I don't know if you caught it earlier while you were eating, but I arranged this.
Yep.
And now I need to arrange my nuts.
M3x8.
Yep. I also, this is a step they don't talk about.
Uh-oh.
It's very important, though. And that step is taking my palm nut off because I put it on backwards. Is that really
Did you?
cool? Yeah, I put the. Oh, maybe I didn't. Hang on.
I don't think you did.
Oh, no, they're saying put the. Okay. I understand.
Spring sticks up through the middle.
Up through the middle. Now, here's the thing that is really important when you're doing these anti-backlash nuts. This is what provides the anti-backlash. The rest of it's just to lets it travel. If you just put it in like this, you have nothing. You need to compress it and then insert the lead screw so that the pulling tension is what gives you the anti-backlash.
Okay.
So it's kind of a deal. And
yeah, they don't really mention how to feed that through. They just say to do it.
Yep.
Although they do show when you're putting the feed on, the bed is in its gravity fed position. And when you feed that stepper through, they've lifted it up to the bottom of the printer.
Well, I'm going to see if I can do this.
I think we're all going to see if you can do this.
Well, I might not show you.
Normal.
Some of these screws just need gravity. And even though I said to do it, I didn't actually do it.
Oh. How dare you?
Yeah. So there's an orientation that these things kind of lock together. There's two flats. There we go. They have been drinking, I think.
Isn't that a part of French design?
I don't know.
I'm going to go with yes.
All right, there we go. There she be. Gone forever.
Narnia claims another one.
Indeed. Oh, found it. Came back.
Hooray!
Dave says, I've been drinking. You can tell that from here.
Only because we know you.
Oh, wow. This is some kind of fresh torture. I'll tell you that much.
Well, we tried the stale torture, but it just didn't work as well.
It's just a step where, like, it's a thing where really they could have had this. They could have designed this bracket just a little bit differently and then had you mount it before this panel when you could get to everything.
So I will ask you the question, because if I don't, one of my grandmothers would smack me. Are you holding your tongue right?
I kind of am. I mean, you see my video game face.
That's what it takes to do all the things. You just have to hold your tongue right.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Popped out the back.
The nut slid over.
Yeah, the screw popped out onto the mat.
Oh, I've got the screw. That's not a problem. The screw is not that loose.
Then where did that one come from?
Huh. Where did that one come from?
I wasn't trying to be a wise.
Maybe the one that originally fell to Narnia that I found?
Maybe.
This is some fresh kind of torture, I'll tell you that much. Oh. No, that one wasn't attached to anything. That fell off the... All right. We'll deal with that one later.
But first, this one. And now that scene from Happy Gilmore.
Tap, tap, arrow.
So many loose nuts in there.
Oh. Dude, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to tap on the side of the frame to get that nut to slide the direction I wanted it to go.
Mm-hmm. And just enough to get it to go far enough, but not so hard that it goes too far.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Do we talk about centering this?
No.
Nope. We're going to do that because that is how we end up with Z-banding. So, what we're going to do
You want to move the bed down to flat and
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to adjust. Adjust the bed. Well, so this, a couple things are at play here.
mm-hmm.
The coupler attached, you can't see it because of this black panel. That's great. The coupler attached to the bed,
Yeah.
I've loosened so that it can be moved around.
Oh, sure.
Then the other section I've loosened as well so that I can use some sort of centering majigger like my eyeballs or a 2mm Allen key. Two millimeters either side. Lock it down. I could get fancy and I could measure the center point on that, but it's not super critical right now.
Correct.
Because where it is where it is. That's just fine. Oh, if you came out of your screw, I swear to God. Oh, good. Yeah, some printed jigs.
I think
really go a long way.
I think you could design one that would go right along with that Z-axis motor mount. Like it could be the Z-axis motor mount.
And just have a couple pockets
Tabs.
to trap nut.
And a couple of little tabs to align those Z rails, the extrusions holding the Z rails.
You could make it so that this part was specifically spaced between the two, so
Yeah.
that there's no way that it could be off center because it fits perfectly between the two.
Yep. And then you could mount that motor earlier on in the instructions, and it would provide your spacing for those two.
We are going to pass that information along to the next designer we know, building a small scale printer. More orientation, more better.
See, Duff, there wouldn't, because this would become just an extension of the motor mount.
You would just bake it into the printed part altogether.
And I've built a couple of bears. There's, if you print the extra ones, 3 or 4 alignment jigs, just alignment tools. It's not that much.
But they make the world a difference. Just fiddly alignment. But that is a smooth moving bed.
Good.
Yeah.
So now you're off into the x-axis.
I am off into the x-axis.
Do you want to go down that particular path tonight?
I don't think I do. I'm just skipping ahead to see what is next and when. There's a whole section on here about the bed that doesn't apply because LDO rocks. Preparing some end stops, that's another thing.
I see what they've done for the top rails as well.
Oh, that's nice. They updated the wiring
Oh, good.
manual a bit. They don't show you where to run the wires, but there's a
That's
little bit more detail, at least, about what wires go where.
Jordan. Goob.
Hey, Mr. Goob.
I'm going to go ahead and say he's one of my favorite Swedes.
Yeah, it really is. No, you know what? I think that's where we're gonna leave it. Like this.
I just don't want you to get too late at night because of the sleep deprivation and
Oh,
silly mistakes and stuff.
That's the thing. I think we've got some good alignment going here with these wires.
Mm-hmm. No wiring after 10.
Oh yeah. Things are in a good alignment there. One foot is loose, but I mean, what's new about that?
Yeah, it's the left one, right?
Yeah, actually, that is the left one. Dang. What's funny is it looks wobbly. It's the whole. It's the whole.
Yeah.
Rotator. I got to get a bigger wheel for that if we keep this up. But that right there brings us to the end of page 65. And we're into page 66.
Should be an easy number to remember.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to pick this up later. More than likely not till like Monday night. And we'll go from there.
Sure. We got
Otherwise,
the Christmas Eve, the Christmas days, and the Boxing Days.
Yeah, we've got some family stuff to do as little as possible because of COVID times. But it is good to get out and see a bit of family, so we'll do a little bit. Well, I'm really liking this color combination on this printer. It's looking...
We get a bit more blue parts on there. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it does need a few more blue parts, that's for sure. But that's where we end up with some hot end parts and some more bits and pieces, and we'll be able to adjust it and make it sparkle. So I think without further ado, that is going to wrap it up from there. I'm going to do my best not to touch the thing. And I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. And those who are watching after the fact, I hope you had a Merry Christmas. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.